Welcome back to Square Off. Back in April, we reported on a strange twist in the ongoing fight by Republican County Recorder Justin Heap to take back the Maricopa County Board's powers over elections. According to audio obtained by 12 News, Heap, a Trump acolyte, told LD4 Republicans that ousting Thomas Galvin as board chairman would help Heap get what he wanted. Take a listen.
It would be more helpful, I think, if Mark Stewart or Debbie Lesko was the chair. This matter probably would have been resolved, in a matter of weeks. Tom has been roadblock. I'm telling them, believe it or not, I think the Democrat would vote on our side.
Now, thanks to reporting by VoteBeat's Jen Fifield, text messages between Heap and some members of the county board reveal details of Heap's plot to win over Republican supervisors Debbie Lesko and Mark Stewart. As for Heap's claim that Democratic supervisor Steve Gallardo would support Heap's side, Gallardo had this response: "Justin Heap is lying about me, and he better keep my name out of his lying mouth." Supervisor Gallardo plans to ask the Attorney General Chris Mays to investigate Justin Heap for public corruption. Could Heap be in serious trouble, and could his plot blow up the cooperation needed to run next year's midterm elections? Joining us are Democratic consultant Stacey Pearson, co-founder of Lumen Strategies, and Republican activist Tyler Montague. Welcome back to Square Off.
Good to be here.
Tyler, does Justin Heap need to lawyer up?
Absolutely. I think he clearly violated open meeting laws. You cannot meet with a quorum of one of these bodies altogether, and you can't do it in series, which is what he is claiming to have done by his own words. So that's a violation. It usually would result in some training and an admonition. He doesn't, I think, have to risk jail time or anything serious like that, but I think he ought to lawyer up.
And go back to this quorum issue. We know he was in contact with Lesko and Stewart from the text messages. There's no evidence he was in contact with Steve Gallardo.
Right.
Certainly Gallardo is saying he wasn't. So,
yeah, so it's an interesting conundrum for Heap. His best defense is to say that he was lying about talking to Gallardo. And so it'll be interesting to see whether he's a rule breaker or a liar. I don't know which way it's going to go.
Okay, so criminal or just dumb?
D, all of the above. I mean, and when you look at his argument, he's saying that the single Democrat on the Board of Supervisors is willing to go along with him to put a bigger tinfoil hat lunatic in charge of our elections. I mean, the math doesn't math on Heap's original claim that Gallardo's in cahoots on this overthrow plan. Woo.
That neither Lesko or Stewart believed him that Gallardo would be voting this way.
Yeah, they kind of
doesn't make sense.
We're talking about a Jan 6er. I mean, these guys don't believe that the ballots were counted accurately in 2020. It's nonsense.
I want to read this text message and then get to a larger point. Here's what Justin Heap said to Supervisor Debbie Lesko via text. "Hopefully, you and I don't receive public records requests from journalists for our personal cell phones tomorrow." That was Justin Heap to Debbie Lesko in April. A day later, VoteBeat submitted its request for their text messages. So he knew this.
Free advice, never say that in a text. That's outrageous.
Well, there's a lesson there for elected officials, which I as a journalist don't want them to learn, which is, text messages you can get a public records request for them. Here's the larger point. Can't lose sight of the fact that the county recorder and the county board have to cooperate on elections. We've had relative peace for the last several years. What happens if they can't cooperate in 2026? If this goes into 2026?
And that's the issue that we're looking at, right? Is how much messier can our elections get? There was a time that we had a county recorder for more than 20 years, and she got in trouble because doors weren't unlocked properly. I mean, there's a lot on the line. This should be a very boring job, and they're doing everything to make it less boring. This should be boring. It should be administrative. There should be people just coming to work every day and minding their business.
How precarious could it get if Justin Heap just goes rogue, as he seems to have done here?
Well, the courts are going to have to probably step in. There are some issues around the shared power agreement. The board does not trust Justin Heap. for the reasons that have been on display. And so on his way out, Stephen Richer renegotiated the agreement with the board, and that's what
To protect the office.
To protect the office.
Yeah, lost his job, but protected the office. It was
that's right.
honorable.
So lots at stake besides text messages. Let's go to the Jeffrey Epstein story. Impossible to avoid right now. President Trump's utterances only raise more questions, and it's put Republicans across the country and here in Arizona in a bind. Congressman Andy Biggs, who wanted to see the messages, now is saying, no, we don't. Congressman Eli Crane is saying, yeah, I want to see the messages. Karrin Taylor Robson, Biggs' opponent for governor in the Republican primary, has been silent. They're in a real bind, and meantime, Congress the House heads home. How does this end?
Well, it's a very interesting problem. You have two things going on. Neither of those candidates, Robson or Biggs, want to offend President Trump.
They're both endorsed by him.
They're both endorsed by him, and that endorsement has been determinative in Republican primaries in Arizona. But the base wants to know. And Trump and others rode into office on the energy of the QAnon, the conspiracy people, the anti-vaxxers, et cetera. So they've made their bed here and agitated by talking about, hey, we've got the files, we're going to release it. Biggs himself demanded release of the files many times, and now he voted against it. So it's Robson's best chance to create a schism between the base and Biggs, because Biggs has the inside track with him. But how does she do that without offending Trump? That's the problem.
So she remains silent.
Well, I think you'll see outside groups do it. I got a text the other day. Hey, did you know that Biggs voted to, not release the Epstein files? So I think that's how that will be done, and we'll see if it can get enough energy to move the needle.
And for Democrats, is this one of those summer scandals that goes away, or does it have staying power?
Oh, I think it has staying power, and for this simple reason, there are thousands and thousands of base Republican voters that didn't even know that there was a relationship between the President of the United States, current President of the United States, and Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, you're looking at the fallout from the breakup of the bromance of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. These stories are in people's news feeds who had never seen them before. I mean, the algorithm was set for Republicans to not get some of this information 2 years ago, 4 years ago, and that all bets are off. I mean, Republicans are seeing this with a fresh set of eyes right now, and they're mad.
All right, got ended there. Stacey Pearson, Tyler Monte, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's our show for this week. Thanks very much to all of our guests. Thank you so much for joining us. See you back here next weekend for another round of Sunday Square Off.